So welcome back. So now we will be talking about how to write our code and how to test it in Python. So as you can see, I already have this method which is located in the calculator.py. You can quickly do the same thing. You just create the uh, Python folder. Then you have what you call the Python package. So you can do that by right clicking on this and you'll be able to create a Python package. So I created a Python package. I called out the calc, and right inside the Python package, I created a new file, which is the calculator.py. So I right click on the calc, then go to new Python file. That gives me the calculator.py. And the next file is the test calculator, which actually is empty right now. So we are going to be talking about the test calculator. So how we can write the code to make sure we test the functionalities of the calculator that we have here. So right now you can see that we have different methods: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. They are all doing different things. So now, just to make sure that I'm not getting this video too long, so I'm going to copy the code from my snippet and I'm going to paste it here for the uh, testing the calculator. So the first thing is this. I'm just going to explain that. So the first thing we are doing is that we import a unit test. Then the second thing is that since we have this calc, we want to come from this calc and import the calculator file, so which we have here. So that means we have access to all the methods that we have right here. So if we come down to the calc, so we can see that we have if you come down to the test calculator now, we can see we have a class, which I call the class test calculator. So this represents the entire class where I'm going to define my test cases. So you can see I have the first one, which is the test add method, and the second one, which is the subtract, and the third one, which is the test multiply, and the fourth one, which is the test divide. So the good naming convention is that you have to make sure that all these things start with test, so that you'll be able to the test runner will be able to find them and run all these tests for you. So here, if we take a look at the test add, so the test add, what it's doing is that it's actually checking the actual value. So we can see that here. So we calculate that by calling the calculator that we import from the calc, and right there we are able to get to the add method. So we say we want to add 2 plus 2 together, and when we add 2 plus 2 together, we want to assert that the actual result is equal to the expected value. So we can see the expected value for 2 plus 2 should be 4, and the actual value that we are expecting here is 4. So if these twos are equal, then this test is going to pass. And we are doing the same thing for the subtract. So take a look at the subtract method. So the subtract method takes into values, these 2 and 2. Then what we are doing is that we want to assert that the actual value, which is going to be 0, is equal to the expected value that we passed in here. So we can see that. So if this is true, then the result, the test is going to pass. So we have the same thing for this one. So which means that we want to subtract from 30, 19, and the result should be 11. So here also we are trying to multiply, and we want to check if our function is working according to the implementation. So here we can see that we say calculator.multiply. So that means we are calling that method and we pass in two values, 2, 2. So we multiply these two together. So we are expecting the expected result to be 4. So if that is so, then this test should be fine. Then also we have a test divide. So we are doing the same thing here. We divide 2 by 2, we have 1. Divide 5 by 2, we have 2.5. And there's a case of dividing by 2 by 0, which we haven't actually handled in our file here. So we are going to be talking about that also. So now that we have our test, let's try to run it and see what we have. So if I run this test, um, so let's see what we have. So we can see that we run 4 tests in 0.00 seconds and all passes. So we can see they are all okay. And you can see this dot, which means that for all the tests that you run, 1, 2, 3, 4, they are 4 in numbers and they are all passed. So that is fine. But let's think about of the situation where someone could try to divide by 0 using our calculator. So we need to implement that logic also into our calculator. So in this case, if someone is trying to divide by 0, we want to come here and check if y is equal to 0. So that means if y is equal to 0, then we want to raise value error. So we are going to raise a value error right here. So in this case, we want to pass in the it is not possible to it is not possible to divide by 0. So you want to tell the user that. Then let's try to save this and see what happens now. So let's go back here and I will come right here and uncomment this one. So here, so let's uncomment that. So now that we have that uncomment, then we want to check if this is going to be correct by the time we run the test case. So now we want to make sure that we are able to check this one. So if someone is dividing by 0, then we want to make sure that our application can handle that case. So here we can see we have run for test in 4 seconds in 0.001 seconds, and we have error, which means that one failed. So let's take a look at the error. It says serve the assert traces. So here we can see that the error is coming due to the fact that the spelling of the assert is not correct. So what I'm going to do is to correct that spelling. So here is going to be assert. So now I'm going to run it again. So we can see that everything passed because we handled that case right here. So if someone is trying to divide by 0, so we raise the value error. Based on that, we are able to get our logic working. So let's think about another condition. So let's think of when, for example, someone is trying to use a string to multiply uh, the values, or they are trying to like add string together. So in this case, we could think of having some filtering. So here we can say we have the number types that we want to collect from the user. So here we are going to say the number types is going to be equal to the uh, list of numbers that we are passing here right here. So here we have int, and right here we can say we have long, and we can say we have float that we want to take from user. Then we can say we have a complex number that we also want to take from user. So here we can see that the longest node is having the red line, so we can actually import that from here. So now we have the long, so here we have the red line, so we can install that package and that should fix the problem. So I will go down now. So right here we want to talk about the number types. So the number types is equal to these types, and we want to check if its instance so the x which we have right here, if it's instance, then comma the number types that we have here. So the next thing that we want to do is that we also want to check the same thing for the y. So and its instance, so its instance, so let's say y into the number types. So what we want to do is to make sure that we are able to return the result. So first thing first, we are going to say the result is equal to so result is equal to x in this case. Then we want to have the plus y, so x plus y, and after that we want to return the result, right? So we'll return the result. So before we do that, we could actually print this result so we can see what is coming from the result. So I'm going to use the print statement. So I will say result is, then I will use the colon and the curly braces, and right here I will use this quote dot format, then we pass in the result here. So now that we have this, we want to return the result immediately right here. So I'm going to say return result. So we have the result returned. We can comment this one out for now. And the next thing that we want to do is to have an else statement, which is going to check by raising a value error. So in case if someone is trying to multiply string together, as we can see, we don't have any string type here, so we are not going to allow such to happen. So this is what this guy is doing right now. So we are trying to make sure we are trying to secure our application so that the application is not broken by the user using them. So for example, they will not be allowed to multiply strings together. So, and the multiplication and the subtract also, we could think about what we can do to actually fix those issues in case if someone is trying to break into the application. So if we come down now to the calculator, so right here, so we fix that. So let's go back to the test calculator. So in the test calculator, we want to check for the case whereby we don't want to allow the user to multiply string together. So here we can have that case. We can say def and here test and not number. So if user is coming with not numbers, so we want to pass in self here. And in this case, we want to be able to self dot assert resist. Now we want to pass in the value error. Value error, then we call the calculator dot add, and here we want to add 5 and 2. So we want to add two strings together now. So let's see what happens. So if I save that and I run this test, let's see. So we can see that we ran 5 tests in 0.00 seconds and they all passed. So let's say now we don't have this logic that we have here, right here. So let's say we are going to remove everything that we have here now, and we just return this x plus y. Just return the x plus y. So let's go back there and run this test again. So here we can see that we have one failure due to the fact that we are not defining these applications to handle that case for us. So if you put this back now, we are able to solve that problem and all the tests we pass. So here we can try to save that and run it again. So here we can see that everything should work now. If I go back here and run this test, so we can see that all the 5 tests is passed. That's good. So thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please kindly subscribe to this channel, and you can also try to share this video with some of your friends that you think they will also enjoy this video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.